We're Batman at 89. Hello, and welcome again to Bat Minute 89, the podcast where we analyze, scrutinize, and avoid spinning newspapers hurled towards us by Tim Burton's 1989 Batman film, 1 minute at a time. I am one of the paper avoiders and hosts, Niall McGowan.
I am the guy who gets hit in the face with the paper because he's such a fool, John Parker.
And today we are once again joined by Movies by Minute, raconteur, I suppose. Scott Carelli. Thanks for coming again, Scott. Thanks for coming all the way back to do another episode. So.
Yeah, of course. I've never been called a racketeer. That's fun.
Oh no, it's raconteur is what I was going for. But if you'll take racketeer, then yeah, well, why not?
Either or, it's all the same.
Yeah,
what's the difference?
It's I'm obviously covering for something.
Today we're talking about minute 56. Minute 56 begins with Bruce rifling through Jack Napier's files, and it ends 1 minute later with the much put upon Harvey Dent pacing his office. So let's get into it, shall we?
Well, first off, I have a question. Is Bruce legally allowed to be looking through these files? Because I'm pretty confident that the answer is no.
No.
He even has his psychological profile.
Yeah, I think we kind of brought up in the last minutes of how did Alfred get these files? And it is I'm just imagine does Alfred have to sneak in ninja style and try to go rifle through is Gotham police so lazy that they're just just leave them lying open. Who's gonna come in and look at criminal files? Who cares?
Oh, I was gonna say I assume it has something to do with the Bat computer, right? But I don't know why these files are anywhere digitally. There wasn't there wasn't really. I mean, certainly not the photographs. As far as digital files in 1989, that doesn't really play. But I guess you're just supposed to say it's comic books and just kind of shrug it off. I'm not sure because it doesn't make any sense why they would have such high quality images.
And
a file and
the police case history folder as well. It's handwritten. So it's at least somebody photocopied it, but it's on a brown. It looks like that's the cover of an actual folder. So that looks like he's went and got the actual thing, unless Alfred was transcribing it from the Bat computer himself. I
love the thought of Alfred breaking in at night, all in black, with a crowbar, and shimmying along rooftops and all kinds of things, just breaking into the records.
Well, the Gotham PD in this movie is so corrupt that maybe they just have a guy on the inside that Bruce is paying off, and it's just Alfred who goes and meets him and gets the files and stuff they need and pays them off.
Yeah. We could even say, he could pretend that he's with the gangsters who are paying all the police. Yeah.
Right.
So he could say, I've been sent by, by your boss, such and such. He wants me to get these files. Is that okay? Yeah, sure.
Oh, maybe it's good old Matches Malone. Maybe we don't, we don't get to see. I mean, my kingdom to see Michael Keaton play Matches Malone, but maybe it's a situation like that.
They changed it up so it's Alfred has to dress up as him, and he's he's doing all the legwork. It's Bruce is just sitting back watching the TV again. It's Alfred will take care of that.
It's the one. I guess it's the one benefit of the slightly the slightly more northern kind of Cockney Alfred that we've gotten in more modern interpretations of Batman. Like those Batman Earth 1 things and then that Gotham TV show.
We're not big fans of that show, but we do like Alfred in it. I think we're both fans, aren't we, no?
Oh, yeah, well, the Sean Pertwee, isn't it? They go for this kind of So he was kind of like that as well in the short-lived Beware the Batman
Right.
CGI cartoon, and their version of Alfred was like Jason Statham. He was just like this really hardened bald guy. He was like, well, you've certainly changed the character there. I'll give you that. But,
yeah,
So what
all
you're
of that,
saying-
all of that was based off of the Jeff Johns, Gary Frank Batman Earth One graphic novels. They were the first ones to do that interpretation of Alfred, and then it seemed to really take off for some reason that I'm sure has nothing to do with the fact that Jeff Johns is leading DC Entertainment now.
Oh, absolutely
yeah,
not.
because
No.
the fair with the Jeremy Irons Alfred, he looks like he could handle himself. Like he's not
Right.
He's not rough and tough, but it's like no, he could. He's not a frail old man either. Like he looks like if something went down in Wayne Manor, Alfred could take care of it, kind of thing.
He looks like I believe him as like an ex military guy. Like I could see the beret on his head, Like I could picture him in that uniform as like a younger man.
I think I've literally seen him in a military outfit in Die Hard with a Vengeance when they're going through his case files. So it could be like, I can imagine him in a beret because I think I've seen him in one. But
Well, there's nothing more exciting in a movie than going through case files.
but this is the bit now that we touched on it there last minute, but this motion here that really bugs me is that the young the picture of young Jack Napier, whereas the guy who plays him in the flashback is blatantly right in front of Bruce, and he just flips the pages over. He doesn't he's not going through these case files in great detail. He's just like, this is all I need to know. It's like, yep, just highly intelligent, unstable, aptitude, science. Yep, I'm done. I was like, dude, it's right in front of you. Just look at the photo.
I know, and it makes a big point of showing you, like, he accidentally covers up the picture of young Napier, as if to say, oh, he's just missed the evidence he needs. It's like, well, but surely you would then, when you're done with this file, just flip to the other side and have a look.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand.
Like, again, it's... Like, I've been trying to track this in terms of, like... I think this was a late addition, this whole business of Jack Napier killed the Waynes. Because it was in the Tom Mankiewicz draft from, like, in the early 80s. They had... Yeah, the Joker hired... Rupert Thorne hired the Joker, who hired Joe Chill to kill the Waynes, basically. And then somehow that's trickled down into this film. But in the original draft of Sam Hamm's script, that's not in there. There's nothing about him killing the Waynes.
No, nothing.
So it seems like this was and then we had the whole thing of like when he's the theory we were going that apparently that some people just regard as this is what happens, as when he's holding him over the chemicals, and there's a look of recognition on Batman's face of like that's the guy. So at that point you think, well, he should know already then that Jack Napier killed his parents, and then it's like, is that why he's just kind of casually flipping over this picture of him? But at the same time, then later on is when he says the whole, do you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? Then he has that what reaction to it. That's supposed to be him recognizing. So it seems like this has been very haphazardly put into the film. It seems like it potentially was like because we've had access to the original draft and then the last one, the working script. So it could have been like a third or fourth draft edition to be like, oh, we're putting that in now as well. And that's why it's just
when I rewatched this movie after your podcast started, and I just sort of went on a tirade of watching this and Batman Returns and watching all the special features and everything. I think it was Sam Hamm who said that the Jack Napier killing Bruce's parents thing was something that Tim was obsessed with, and that Sam Hamm hated. Yeah. And was basically saying, like, in the interview, he was like, don't blame me. That was not my idea. I had nothing to do with that.
I don't like it for the character of the Joker, like in the wider context, but I think it works well in this series of movies. It's like it's good in this film. Sure. It adds a little extra layer.
Well, well, I mean, if you're gonna have a movie where the Joker, Batman's ultimate arch villain, is only around for like 2 weeks' time, you gotta make it so that people understand. Because if he didn't kill his parents, you just sort of watch this movie and be like, well, what was the big deal? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
you know?
This guy was a pain in the ass for like a week.
Right, exactly. So the fact that he kills his parents like adds that extra pathos, I guess. Because I mean, really, if you're looking at the grand scheme of things, between these two films, the Penguin is the more bigger adversary because he's around longer. He's around for like a few, or it seems like longer. At least he's around for at least a month. I think. Right?
He's there throughout Christmas. I think is basically the Penguin's period. Like,
right. Because he does have a long enough to have a mayoral campaign. So
Yeah,
that must be a little while. That'll be a few months, won't it?
Oh no, but it does. Like a film starts, unless it's supposed to be over the course of a very cold year, because it starts off with the
Well, it starts off with the lighting of the Christmas tree.
Yeah,
so that's got to at least be Black Friday, right?
And then at the end, it's still Alfred's still like, "Oh, Merry Christmas, Master Wayne," and all that. So it's still Christmas time.
Well, back in with this specific minute, I had a thing. It says Jack is listed as intelligent, but he's got violent mood swings, which I didn't really get that vibe from him previously. Like maybe now he's the Joker, I would understand that, but not when he was just Jack. Because when he was Jack, he seemed kind of calm, menacing.
Well, he did have
calculated.
that bit when Eckhart tells him he's got no future, and he just shoves him against the wall and stuff. Like that's I think that's the hint we get. Plus the fact that everyone just keeps referring, it's an A1 nut boy, and I think maybe it could be it's violent mood swings and that he always seems very calm, but when it hits,
I think he's probably mellowed out in his older age too. I could see that young Jack Napier in the flashback. I could see him having like just tons of crazy mood swings.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he seems wild, isn't he? Just in that one scene.
He is genuinely quite a scary man. That guy.
I think he's the A1 nut boy. That what's his face was what Eckhart was referring to, and I think that's why he gets so mad. It's just because he's like no, I moved on from that, and he's like, oh, I'm proving your point right now, aren't I?
Yeah. But I could add in actually, because we said that back when those minutes came out, is that it's kind of, we had the thing, it's like Jack Napier's also he's a bit of a coward as well, as he has several instances of complete cowardice. But because when he shoves that cart, he does have a brief moment of like, oh god, what have I done? Because the gun comes out, and it's only when Bob comes over his shoulder to save him, and he's just kind of like, better be sure, and that kind of thing. But that could also be an interpretation of that, is that his reaction is not so much like, oh god, what have I done? It's more like, oh, I've fallen into the trap. Like I'm acting like a nut now. But
right,
yeah.
Because I mean, I would imagine what happened is that he was the A1 nut boy and was just nuts and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and really probably, I mean, killing the Waynes as a thing was probably not a planned thing to do, and was,
no,
and it was probably just something he riffed on in the moment and just did it.
Yeah,
and I bet that moment was sort of like the last straw where what was his boss's name?
Oh, Grissom.
Grissom. That where Grissom probably took him aside and was like, okay, listen, I like you, kid, but you need to chill out if you're planning on getting anywhere in this company.
Yeah.
Like if you want to end up taking my spot when I pass away, because I'm not going to have kids, because who wants that business?
Yeah.
If you want to take my spot, you need to chill out, you need to mellow out, and you need to start getting a little more calculated and start using your brain more than you have been.
Yeah.
And so I imagine like when Eckhart is sort of having that talk with him, I think it's really just like Jack being like, I've worked so hard to get back into the good graces of Grissom and worked so hard to be his number one guy that I don't like it when someone points out that I used to be the A1 nut boy.
Because he also adds in, you're A1 nut boy, and Grissom knows it. He's kind of going like, you've still not. Grissom still know. I talk to Grissom. I know what he thinks of you, kind of thing. So even that's adding. Yeah, it's adding an extra layer to the whole thing there. So,
well, for someone who is so nuts, It's interesting then to see his list of aptitudes, which is a bit weird thing to have in his file anyway. How comprehensive is this damn thing? But it's got his list of aptitudes as science, chemistry, and art.
Isn't chemistry a science?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, why have they had this special? It's like he's good at science overall. He's really good at chemistry, like that kind of thing. But...
Yeah, why does it do it that way? That's particularly strange. Although it then makes sense with the next thing I'm going to say, because this movie, is it positing to us that Jack, as the Joker, has single-handedly created this chemical? Like he's literally mixed it, tested it himself. Is that what we're supposed to believe here?
I think so.
He's just sat and made it in the lab on his own.
Like, we do get the shots earlier in the film of the file with the declassified nerve toxin. But I imagine it probably is that he might have taken something that's, it does doing the damage of Smilex or something, and then he's improved it. Or he's worked out how to mix it with certain cosmetics or something. Like he's taken a thing that's already pre-made and then he's adding his own spin on it.
You can't very well create a brand from something you stole.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, he is a criminal.
What is this? What is this? A flaming Mo? Come on.
I do also enjoy the fact that like Bruce Wayne's like, chemistry kind of leans back again. It's like chemistry. Thinking about it, he's kind of like, yeah, I guess we did have chemistry when I was talking to him, but it's just like he does have an aptitude. Yeah, we did that whole nice outfit line. Yeah, we had good chemistry. But
we're getting into Tumblr fanfic territory here, Niall. Watch out.
Yeah. You listen back on some of our episodes, John. We've been firmly in there before. Believe you me.
Well, I'm a fan of Keaton's lips. That's on record.
We've mentioned Boker, the Bob Joker love affair, many times. So. But I do also have as well, like, because it just got me thinking of like, talking about chemistry, the science of what's going into Smilex and how he's mixing it together. To look up exactly, has anyone ever cited exactly what's in Joker venom? Or, it's classically known as in the comics.
Well, didn't we try and research this before, and there wasn't too much?
No, we researched the chemicals he fell into, but this is the actual venom.
Oh, yeah.
But apparently, according to the DC Technical Manual, Star Labs 1993 annual report, it's stated that the Joker venom is a hellish mixture of hydrogen cyanide and strychnine, a strychnine derivative. The toxin causes immediate cessation of the heart and brain functions. As a side effect, the victim's muscles contract in such a way as to severely tighten and discolor their skin, especially in the facial area, leaving them with, the Joker grin. But that does tie in very much to Smilex, because remember when we had last week, I was comparing, like, you see later on in, like, Mask of the Phantasm, the effect of the Joker venom. Maybe it was a milder form he was using, where it actually had the implication was that you would laugh yourself to death. But this venom's, they're stating in the breakdown of the venom is like, no, you die pretty much instantly. And it just leaves you with which I think is like, oh yeah, it's bad. The whole laughing yourself to death thing I find is more chilling though. Like that's the thing.
Oh, that's horrible. In fact, wasn't Crystal disturbed by this idea?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, that's one of the best scenes in Mask of the Phantasm, but it is very, very creepy. The whole implication of that's about to happen to this character. But
there was like my favorite bit in Mask of the Phantasm with the laughing is the guy. When Batman visits him in the hospital and the guy is laughing and goes, "Oh no!" I love the juxtaposition of the laughing while like also so terrified you're crying.
Yeah.
Like that's so messed up and creepy and great.
Yeah.
And I miss the laughing. There's not a lot of laughing with this Joker.
No, very little.
Yeah. Which is I don't know, not my favorite part of this Joker. In fact, when we do get his laughing is like literally done in posthumously. So I'm not crazy about the fact that this Joker doesn't laugh a lot, and definitely doesn't cause anyone else to really laugh except for the one news anchor that we get. What was that?
Becky. Yeah.
Last week.
Yeah. It's like last week. Yeah. But I mean, like to be fair to him, he does laugh more than like Heath Ledger's Joker, who is very, very grim. except for a few scenes. He does a crack out laugh, a very great laugh at one point. But
Yeah, but he's got a kind of a different vibe to him. He's got like he comes across like he's having fun. Like I know he's not actually laughing, but he seems to be enjoying himself.
They do have like the very telling intro of him, and like, it's like they're playing off the expectations of the Joker of when he comes into the mobsters meeting, and he's just doing a blatant fake laugh of like
right.
Like
there's also there's also this new sort of take on the Joker currently where he doesn't laugh, where he doesn't. He's lost his sense of humor. And so he's sort of going through the motions of what like the Joker does, and is trying to like find his laughter again. And he just can't. Like at one point he has there's an issue that opens where he's like in the audience of a stand-up club, and there's no one else in the club. It's just him and the comedian is trying to tell a joke, and then he shoots the comedian and he dies, and then sends the next comedian out, and the next comedian comes out and he tells him to clear the stage first, and so he has to push the body off the stage onto a pile of other bodies of comedians who didn't make the Joker laugh. And I do really like the idea of like a kind of an impotent Joker, where he wants to laugh but has forgotten how to, and so he does all these things to try and find his sense of humor. There's something really dark and interesting about that concept for the Joker too, but
Oh, I'd like to see that in a movie. That could be really twisted.
Like I said, that really reminds me though of the episode of South Park where Cartman breaks his funny bone. He can't laugh anymore, and he wants to laugh, but because he sees, it's the people who have like their heads are literally buttocks. Like it's just people who look like they have an ass for a head, and it's so funny to him. He's just like, I can't laugh anymore. It's like that was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. And then the whole episode, he's like, no, I can't. Nothing's funny to me anymore. And then at the end, actually weirdly enough, as everything's connected, because he finds out then like they've lost their son. And it turns out at the end they find the son, and the son's Ben Affleck. And Cartman's like, oh yeah, Ben Affleck. And he starts laughing again. And Ben Affleck plays Batman. Yeah, there you go. So it's all connected, baby.
There it is.
I will note though, like someone who doesn't look very fun here is Alfred. See this outfit here. This is full on like Undertaker outfit he's got going on. It's like this is an Undertaker tie he's wearing. It's like an old school. Like he's just ready to like haul out a coffin at any given minute.
Maybe something you're not quite seeing just out of the shot when you see Bruce is he's measuring him for the coffin. He gets a tape measure out and he's sizing him up for the suit. No, but he doesn't look interested either in because Bruce is reading all this aloud for some reason to him, and he just looks like I've got some ironing to do. Yeah. I need to go.
I do. I love the fact then of like the total trailer line of like Alfred, let's go shopping, and this is yes sir, because Alfred knows it's like I'm going shopping. You're not going anywhere.
Oh no. I think they're both. I think they're shopping together. I think Alfred pushes the little shopping cart, and I think following Bruce around. I just wrote in my notes. I want to see that scene. Like that's. I want to see them going on a shopping spree together. That sounds fun.
I was very disappointed that the next scene wasn't like at the mall.
Yeah.
Like I want a montage of Bruce trying on different outfits or gadgets and Alfred approving or disapproving.
And like them sitting at the food court, like having ice cream together and stuff, and like checking out the ladies as they walk past and things like that. Going to
he could even push the ice cream into Alfred's nose and have a laugh. Yeah.
It's like talking about a guy with no sense of humor. Alfred, right? It's like killer eyebrows, but no sense of humor.
Well, but I love the idea of doing all of those montages, but only Bruce is the one into it, and Alfred is just there being Alfred. And so
he just goes along with everything.
Yeah, it just goes like when he pushes the ice cream in his face, it's literally just Bruce laughing at him because Alfred is just letting it happen.
Because like this is another thing now. Someone has to go and make this short film of just like someone dressed up as the Keaton version of Bruce Wayne, someone dressed up as Alfred, and just their little shopping trip. But but anyway, then we get of course like the cuts to the spinning newspaper hurtling towards us at super speed. And did you guys like? We got the cosmetic scare in Gotham. Product tampering claims 13 lies. who is the mysterious Joker? And I never noticed this before. The film never refers to him as the Joker. It's always just Joker.
Yeah, Joker. Yeah, I've been picking up on this as we've been going through.
Because I always prefer the Joker, and I never noticed that it's just Joker to them. It's like, well.
Well, I suppose, though, this is the origin of the name. So that they're referring to him as a Joker.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So I suppose over time, though, it would... Like the would get added on, when he assumes that as his moniker, but of course that doesn't happen in this movie.
But when he introduces himself, he says, "Oh, you can call me Joker." So it's like he himself is like, "No, just the."
Yeah,
that's to come.
It's a name, not a title in this movie.
Yeah,
but I prefer. I always like the Batman, and I like the Joker, and it's like, sure. I mean, I'll take it. I mean, you're still giving me a quality film, but it's just. Minor nitpick, but
I do need to point out something really interesting that I've always thought was a bit of a sort of a plot hole, sort of, because like all this time I've always thought, because we're about to go into the scene with the two anchors that don't have any makeup on, which I've got things to say about, but I've always thought oh, that's weird, like they couldn't like ship in some cosmetics from like another city or something.
Yeah.
Like I always thought that was strange. Well, if you look on the newspaper down in the corner, it says that there's a shipping strike. So they can't ship in from anywhere else right now.
It could have been also a thing as well, like people are like other cities are getting scared of like, oh, if they start shipping things in from us, then this guy might come after our cosmetics as well. So he's widening the net. So it could have been tied into that, or as well. But yeah, as you say, there is the so I've managed to write down all the headlines that I could make out on this because some of them are very fuzzy. But it's a consultator fails to get joint talks and shipping strike. So don't know if that has anything that could have been. This crisis has prompted the shipping strike of people going, no, we're not doing that. We're not endangering our city just for you people or something like that. But
Gotham typically is sort of an island, right? Like kind of like a Manhattan Island, sort of.
Yeah.
Right, typically. So yeah, they would have to get stuff shipped in.
I guess
for the most part.
Because I've also got as well, because some of the other headlines we have here is was it Hempstead crash of bomber kills 2? And because I was thinking, well, Hempstead, like that's England. But then I looked into it.
Yeah, Hemel Hempstead.
Yeah, but there is Hempstead in New York. So then Gotham's classically supposed to be in New Jersey. So I guess like, oh, that does kind of tie in that it would be like, oh, they're in New Jersey. They would have news from New York because it's right next door and stuff. But
interesting.
Yeah.
And then we get other ones is cited as symbol, visiting president told he represents new era in relations of nations, which is very poetic at the end. But is that something that could have something to do with the war in Corto Maltese? Maybe this is things are getting fixed over there. I don't know. But
I'd like to see the Corto Maltese thing come back into it.
Yeah.
And bring it up again in another movie.
But like Batman and Robin, it's like this war in Corto Maltese has been going on for like 8 years now. But
yeah, that would totally fit the tone of that movie. What are you saying?
But,
although I like the tagline on the paper though, in the top left, because I thought that was interesting. That it says all the news that's fit to print.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's at least they're honest about kind of like editing their news.
But I did one headline I couldn't make out as well. But sees something Dartmouth something inherits founder's plan. But it seems like this is if this was nowadays. Every one of these headlines would be an Easter egg. It would have been like, hotshot pilot Hal Jordan has just got back from blah, 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 or something like that.
Yeah.
But this is
There'd
just
be something about Superman there, or Clark Kent would have a story.
Yeah, Lois Lane wins journalism prize or something like that. But this is very much like, nah, just come up with the most boring headlines you can think of, really.
Right.
But I did note as well that it does say that this edition is from Friday, the November 14th. So it's in November, anyway. And I looked in and said, was that Friday, November 14th in 88? But apparently, I think it must be set in 86, because that's when Friday was the 14th of November. So, But just get that in there as a little, analyze it minute by minute. We might as well do it that way. But
That was deep, yeah. Jeez.
Interesting.
oh no, it's just one other little thing. So I looked into, so it's got me thinking, like, when did this whole spinning newspaper thing? Because it's such a trope. Where did that come from? And apparently, it's cited as originally coming from Citizen Kane. And of course, Citizen Kane's already had several influences on this film. It's like,
Right.
oh, there you go. It's all tying together. But
But it's also, I mean, to a certain extent, it's also, I assume, sort of a call to the Batman 66 series, right?
100%.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yeah. But,
So-
That's instantly what I thought.
Yeah.
And also, I love, like, let me just reword that. I don't love. The
I
paper
hate.
here. I hate. No. The paper says product tampering claims 13 lives. And when I was looking at the 86 draft again, it's very different with the figure, because that draft has the number at 72 lives, which is a quite startling change.
yeah, you think, though, because 13 in a whole city isn't that bad. Like,
Well,
that's
and,
good.
know,
and,
though.
but the product is already out there. It should be in the hundreds.
But yeah, I guess it could be like this could have been another note of like, nah, just let's not go into the. Well, I guess we are going to see like hundreds of people die later in the parade, but like it does seem like a very conservative figure for like,
Well, I suppose, though, it's only just started, and I mean, 13 is a lot to be in a day. I'm assuming be contaminated.
Well, that's the thing, because we can get into how long it's been next, because then, as Scott was alluding to, then like we cut from this into the shot of the two news presenters who like they just look terrible. Like it's like not only do they not have cosmetics, it kind of looks like they have like scurvy or something. It looks so bad.
Tell you what, though, they might be disheveled, but unlike TK421, they have stuck to their posts. I admire that.
Can I talk about Tim Burton for a second?
Oh, go ahead.
Because it's related to these guys. So when Tim Burton is one of those directors that a lot of people think they have pegged, and so you'll see a lot of like parodies of his work, and it's always the like, oh look, black and white stripes and things like that, and they're like, ooh, I'm a kooky artist, oh, everything's so goth, and I see that's not. I think they're missing a big portion of what Tim Burton is whenever they do that, because as much as the art direction of his films are definitely part of his vibe, it's not just that. He's a little bit like Wes Anderson in that you do have a heavy influence on art direction, right, as a director. But there's also moments like this, which is just a complete Tim Burton joke. Like this joke of them not having makeup on, but not bringing any attention to the fact that they don't have any makeup on and that they look like garbage, and he has a big zit on his face, but you're playing it completely straight. Like this feels so much like Tim Burton to me. But this is the side of Tim Burton that no one seems to really talk about. This is as much a part of his personality as like the kooky goth art direction that he is really into. And I don't know. I wish people would give him a little more credit. They're very dismissive of him as a director.
Oh God, yeah, these days,
especially these days, yeah, and to a certain extent, rightfully so, because he only, for every solid movie he makes like 6 completely forgettable ones. Currently, but I think it's important to point out some of the Burton tropes that we don't hear a lot about, and this joke feels so like I could see this scene out of context and say to myself like, oh, is this directed by Tim Burton?
Oh yeah, definitely. I can see that 100%.
Yeah, it does. It's got a weird recurring. Well, at least in this, and then there's a whole thing on cosmetics, and then like the next film he did after this was Edward Scissorhands, and one of the the mother of the family in that is like an Avon saleswoman,
Right.
And it seems like he's got some beef with cosmetics. This guy, like, it's like, because it seems like, well, they're supposed to be like the wholesome 1950s family, and they're quite vacuous and whatnot as well.
Right.
And then this seems to be kind of like the mockery of like, oh, look at things are how silly things have got now. The cosmetics have gone away and stuff. But
right.
I was wondering if that's it. I actually have to go through the rest of his things to see like has he got any more recurring. Has he got a recurring beef with cosmetics? Or
I think he probably got it out of his system in Edward Scissorhands, because I think it's a little more thematic in that movie. Whereas here it's just sort of like a theme, but it doesn't like permeate the movie the way that it does in Edward Scissorhands. I think it's more of just like vanity's funny.
Well, I guess because it ties into because later on the Joker then is going after pretentious artwork as well, while himself boasting as so I guess it's kind of getting into some sort of the hoity-toityness of society in general, of like preening appearances and all this respectful upper crust artwork that's just so we'll have to get into that actually when that's literally the next week.
Well, I mean, you say that, but there is something to be said for cosmetics here, because no offense to these guys, but he's made them comically look like crap.
I think it looks like Peter's been there since Becky died. Like he's just not left the desk or something. Like,
It looks like he hasn't even washed his face, even with water. It's like a cartoon collection of zits on his face.
Well, that's why I think it's meant to just be a joke rather than a commentary in this particular movie. It's more just like, look, this is what they look like when they're not wearing all that makeup. Look how fake news the news is, and isn't that funny? And I think it's just a joke.
But and then of course the this unnamed newscaster is Becky's replacement, and
I spent ages trying to find her name. I was like, it's got to be here somewhere. It's got to be here.
Yeah.
Nope.
Oh no, I got it.
Oh, you found it?
Yeah.
How?
It was just a female newscaster.
I meant a proper.
Oh, sorry. No, I don't have her actually. I don't think she's given a name.
No, they didn't care enough.
But on her IMDb as well, she notably was in Dirty Harry as Underwear Chick. That's a bit of
okay.
And it's notably there's a lot of English things. It's back into your Midsummer Murders and whatnot. But she was in She-Wolf of London, which was a kind of cult classic now. So some people really like it, but and then there's like Bergerac, things like that. Nothing really too notable with her, but that's Kate Harvey is her name, just in case I didn't mention it before. But
I do like as well, she also seems to be a complete cartoon of a character, because that hair is absurd. Like I love it. It's hilarious, but I mean, come on, as a character, you could do something with that, even if you've not washed it. Just tie it back.
You got to imagine as these actors, like they get this big gig where they're literally the stars of the scene, and they're like, oh yeah, this is going to be great. We're going to be in this big Batman movie. We're going to be the stars of this. So what's the deal? Oh, we're going to make you comically ugly.
Oh, thanks.
Great.
But, I do enjoy her performance as well, in terms of the fact that she's just like, she's so stern and serious. It's proper newscaster performance. But the fact that it's the juxtaposition of how insanely, the hair is terrible, and it looks as if she's like ran about 5 miles and she's just sweating and stuff. Like it is a genuinely good joke in that regard. So like, that's a great juxtaposition between the two things happening on screen there.
Well, because it's the same sort of their reaction to them being, her having comically frizzy hair and no makeup, and the same thing with him. It's the same sort of like dry reaction that these anchors have to being absurdly done up for what they're doing, and it's like you're literally on television to announce the deaths of people, and you're done up like a Barbie doll, and
like a corpse almost as
right.
well.
Well, I mean, it's as silly when they're all done up than it is now with the frizzy hair and the no makeup. It's just as silly.
Oh yeah.
And so I like that she's just playing it like, this is what I would do if I was playing a news anchor regardless.
I was just going to say the two of them state that there's now been 6 new deaths. So I'm assuming that's on top of the 13. But they don't know what's causing it. It could be food, booze, beauty and hygiene products. It's everything. But Peter here, he puts a very strange emphasis on underarm deodorant. He does a little face, because I assumed from the little face he was doing, he was about to say, and condoms.
Yeah.
It's
It's more just like the underarm deodorant, as if like everyone's been having this problem of like, everyone stinks now. So he's like, underarm deodorant, you know where I'm coming from, right? Don't you guys? You know?
A little wink.
Yeah. But yeah, then we jump in then to Harvey. I'm assuming it's Harvey Dent's office anyway. But and a close up of the Gotham flag we see very briefly, which is
for half a second.
Yeah. But apparently, I was surprised they even bothered, because you think if you're going to make it, you might as well hang it up. But like, apparently it is. It's based on the state flag of Indiana. So
Yep. I live in Indiana, so
fair enough. Like so,
yeah.
so you can.
So is that
that is 100% accurate. That is the Indiana flag, except it says Gotham instead of Indiana.
So they've just stolen it. They haven't even really changed it.
No, yeah, they haven't changed anything. It's literally the same flag.
But it's like, I guess me giving them like a little too much credit then, but like, oh, they made this flag. It's like, no, they got an Indiana flag, and then they just stitch Gotham at the bottom. So it's like,
yeah.
But unless that was like the thing, it's like they actually planned to have a big Gotham flag, and then the production designer was like, "Oh boy, I forgot about that." I was like, "Just stick it in the background. No one's gonna know. No one need ever know." So, but here we are, so many years later, and we got you. We called you on it, man.
Yeah, we are onto you. I want an apology by the morning.
But then we do get a little bit of dialogue, but I think because we get into the scene much more in the next minute. So should we leave it until then, or do you guys want to bring up anything now? Or
No, we can save it.
Okay,
Yeah, save it. Save it.
so that's all. That's I'm noted out. So
Same.
All right.
And the news anchors have conceded that there may not even be a pattern. Oh my God, what's going to happen? You're going to have to tune in on Friday to find out, and continue to tune in. That would be helpful for all concerned. Before we do head off, Scott, have you got anything you want to promote or plug or tell people where to find you?
Sure. I mean, duelinggenre.com is the main website, of course. I have my Minute podcast, Back to the Future Minute, which is completely ended. And then Spider-Man Minute, which is on hiatus, and the Cornetto Minute, which is happening right now. We're talking about Shaun of the Dead. But also I have a original podcast series called Geek by Night, which is sort of related to all of this superhero stuff. It's about 5 friends who work in a comic book store together and then get superpowers, and what it means to be sort of a geek who gets their wish and becomes like a superhero, and what that's like, without all that pathos of I never asked for these powers. It's not all that. It's sort of a comedy and about these friends who kind of love having superpowers and what that's like.
Hey.
And so go check that out if you're looking for something a little different. Quite proud of that one.
Hey. Well, yeah, I mean, it's a comedy, as you say, but inspiring for all nerds, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That's what we all want. And make sure to get in touch with us on the Facebook page, the Bat Minute 89 Listeners Society. And we're also on Twitter, Instagram, and we apparently have a Tumblr, which we never update, which is, they're all Bat Minute 89. So just look us up there. And join us again on Friday, because we will be back with Minute 57.
next time, mayoral moaning. As Gotham's premiere prattles on about a potentially postponed party, will a beloved bowler-fitted butler be able to inform Bruce of his own rearranged rendezvous? Find out Friday, same Bat Pod.
Different Bat Minute.